Secretary General of the Kenya Red Cross and has vast experience in humanitarian affairs and has been a champion of this. Daktari, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ayub. I don't know why they always assume the speakers are as tall as Governor Sakaja and Governor Timang, so thanks for the adjustment. I will ask that I will take a few more minutes if that happens, because I am the only woman in this panel. So I will be speaking on my behalf and on behalf of another woman who should have been on the panel. And I think by default there was an empty chair there. I don't think it was a design, but that meant the gods were speaking that another woman should have been sitting there. But on a light touch. His Excellency, Mr. Bondevik, Oslo Center founder and former Prime Minister of Norway, His Excellency Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, former Vice President of Kenya, Excellencies, Governors, Excellencies, Ambassadors, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Members of Parliament, the Executive Chairman of Oslo Center, I call him Finn, a very good friend and a partner in crime, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and vibrant youth from across Africa, all protocols observed. Good morning. Good morning. It is indeed an honor to be here today at the Africa Youth Forum hosted by the Oslo Center. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Center and its Executive Chairman for this invitation. Your continued commitment to democratization and citizen engagement in Africa is commendable and crucial for all our collective progress. For those who don't know, IFRC stands for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, with a membership of 191 national Red Cross and Red Crescent societies globally. So I will be using IFRC in short because it's a very long name. Today's theme, Breaking Barriers Through Intergenerational Dialogue, could not be more timely or significant. We are at a pivotal moment in history where the voices of young people are more crucial than ever in shaping a sustainable future for not only our continent but the world at large. Additionally, this forum takes place as we prepare to commemorate the World Humanitarian Day on Monday, 19th August. This year's theme is Act for Humanity, Ending Violence Against Humanitarian Workers. We have continued to witness the killings of civilians and humanitarian workers in line of duty. Since the beginning of this year, the IFRC has lost staff and volunteers in several countries. In Sudan, for example, a volunteer was killed recently while giving first aid to an injured civilian. Majority of those killed have been young people who have dedicated themselves to saving the lives of their brothers and sisters, even while knowing that means putting their lives at risk. Young people are pillars of the IFRC network, and globally we have more than 16 million volunteers. Volunteers are our strength, they are what defines us, and they help make the world a safer and more peaceful place every single day. The majority of these volunteers are young people. In Africa alone, 80% of our volunteers are young people, and I have seen a number of them here, Ali and others, who have grown through the Red Cross system. As IFRC, we also partner with the Office of the African Union Youth Envoy in mobilizing and facilitating the contribution of Africa's young people to the Africa Union 2063 agenda, the Africa we want, an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. The Red Cross and Red Crescent Network places youth at the core of its mission and mandate, involving them as leaders, volunteers, and members of the affected communities. On leadership and governance, our network is benefiting from engaging young people at all levels of governance and management through platforms and mechanisms such as global, regional, and sub-regional networks. These platforms provide statutory means for youth to contribute to our movement's work. Regionally in Africa, we have the IFRC Africa Youth Network, which advocates for youth involvement and participation towards achieving continental networks health initiatives, especially linking to enhancing access to healthcare and promoting public health. As part of Africa CDC's Saving Lives and Livelihoods initiative in partnership with Mastercard Foundation, the Red Cross Red Crescent Network reached last year 234 million people across 32 countries in Africa through risk communication and community engagement for COVID-19 vaccination uptake. This achievement was only possible through engaging young people across the continent. Over the last few years, we have been working on the Global Youth Mobilization Initiative of the Big Six youth-serving, youth-involving organizations established in 2020, invested more than $5 million to support 654 youth-led projects, which engaged more than 600,000 young people and reached over 3.6 million people in communities in more than 125 countries. Together with UNFPA, the IFRC co-chairs the Global Compact for Young People in Humanitarian Action. Gone are the days when we saw the dream that youth represent the future. They are the present now. They bring fresh perspectives, innovative solutions, and a passion for change that is indispensable for sustainable development. We are all beneficiaries of the transformation that has formed the new world order, from digital media expansion to artificial intelligence and now moving into robotics. For these voices and ideas to be more impactful, we must create platforms that allow for constructive dialogue, meaningful engagement, and comfortable spaces for innovation. The African youth have significantly contributed to the humanitarian sector, showcasing their leadership, innovation, and resilience in addressing complex challenges across the continent. Their involvement spans various areas, including disaster response, health, education, and social justice, making them indispensable actors in the humanitarian landscape. African youth have been at the forefront of disaster response initiatives, particularly in regions affected by conflicts, natural disasters, and epidemics. Through volunteerism, grassroots mobilization, and the use of digital platforms, young people have played a crucial role in providing immediate relief and long-term recovery support to affected communities. For instance, during the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, youth volunteers and organizations were instrumental in spreading awareness, providing medical assistance, and supporting quarantine measures. Their efforts were pivotal in curbing the spread of the virus and aiding the recovery of affected regions. As leaders, young people have provided effective leadership in the mobilization and coordination of humanitarian efforts. Young Africans have also made substantial contributions to health and education, advocating for better access to services and resources for marginalized communities. Through campaigns, youth-led NGOs, and community projects, they have addressed issues such as mental health, HIV and AIDS, mental health, maternal health, and the need for quality education. In countries like Kenya and South Africa, youth-driven initiatives have led to the establishment of community health programs and educational scholarships that have positively impacted the life of thousands of people. The younger generation in Africa is leveraging technology to enhance humanitarian efforts, from developing mobile apps for disaster management to using social media for awareness campaigns and timely disaster alerts. Projects like Ushahidi, a crowdsourcing platform developed in Kenya, have revolutionized the way information is collected and disseminated during crisis, enabling faster and more effective responses. The Kenya Red Cross mobilizes young people through hackathons to find groundbreaking solutions for complex humanitarian challenges. Many young Africans are deeply involved in environmental conservation and climate change advocacy. They recognize the link between environmental degradation and humanitarian crises such as food insecurity and displacement. Youth-led organizations and movements across the continent are working tirelessly to promote sustainable practices, reforestation, and the protection of natural resources, ensuring a better future for their communities and the world at large. Young people from universities also provide expertise in the design and delivery of key humanitarian programs. Generally, the contributions of African youth to the humanitarian sector are vast and varied. Their energy, creativity, and commitment to social good have made them key players in addressing some of the continent's most pressing challenges. As we move forward, it is essential to continue supporting and empowering these young leaders, recognizing that their efforts are critical to building a more just, resilient, and sustainable Africa. As we look to the future, we must stop seeing young people as only victims of crisis and begin to see and appreciate them as critical players in the design and execution of humanitarian action. So what more can youth do? Embrace the leadership of the humanitarian system and actions. More and more women and young people are disproportionately being impacted by crisis, not only in Africa but globally. Yet, how many women and young people are in leadership in the humanitarian system? Who is representing them? How many decisions being reached answer to their needs? Even in peace negotiations, in conflict situations, where are the young people? Clearly, they do not have seats at the table. I urge all of us here today to work together in breaking these barriers. Let us foster environments where young people can thrive as active participants in humanitarian efforts. Let us ensure that youth are not just heard, but are also empowered to lead. It is our collective responsibility to mentor, guide, and support them. Young people should also lead and support development of more effective and agile preparedness and response systems. Today, youth are contributing more to response action. We need them to participate more in preparedness as well, because that is what will greatly reduce the impact of disasters on affected people. Young people must participate in the review of the humanitarian system as a whole and make it something that can actually answer the needs of affected people. So as we move forward, let us remember that youth are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. Their insights, energy, and creativity are invaluable assets that we must harness to drive positive change. The transformation we seek will not come from a single effort or a lone voice. It will come from our collective actions, driven by the passion and commitment of young people. The future of Africa and indeed the world lies in the hands of our young people. Let us support them, invest in them, and most importantly, trust them to lead us towards a brighter and more equitable future. I look forward to the discussions and insights that will emerge from this forum, and together let us work towards a future where every young voice is heard and valued. As the former US President Franklin Roosevelt said, we cannot always build a future for the youth, but we can always build our youth for the future. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Asha Mohammed, and you are within time. Much appreciated for your time management. So again, before I call on to the stage our next speaker, to again re-emphasize the message, please let's use the hashtag. It's there displayed, Youth Forum on all social media platforms. It's also live streamed on Facebook and also on X, formerly Twitter. We want to hear your feedback. It's not going to be a conversation that comes from one end. It ought to be a conversation with you as well to develop that channel so that we can hear your feedback as well. Next up is His Excellency Dr. Senior Counsel Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, our former Vice President and the leader of the Wiper Party, onto the stage. Karibu.
A very warm Nairobi good morning. Excellency, former Prime Minister of Norway, I'm so happy to see you again. The founder of Oslo Center. I've also seen my good friend Tora, Brian Tora. You gave him to us, and he's been wonderful in shaping our democratic practice in this country. So the Oslo Center, and Norway in particular, have been wonderful partners in the journey that we as Africa, and more particularly as Kenya, have undertaken in our democratic transformation. So it's so good to see you again in Nairobi. I have a problem with pronouncing Norwegian names because they're not easy, including that of Finn, executive chair of the Oslo Center. I also want to recognize my fellow panelists here, Governors Timami of Lamu and Sakaja of Nairobi, and our sister Dr. Asha, who has been so elaborate in identifying the role of the youth. Allow me then to extend my greetings to all of you, Excellencies, as well as the Secretary General of Muslim World League, who may not be here. He's been very kind to also co-sponsor this event. Distinguished visitors, fellow leaders and elders, and our youth.